posted a short of this guy's infamous appearance on the iconic Jerry Springer show, and it really generated a lot of interest. And that's Peter Steele of Typo Negative.
You happy to be here?
I'm less miserable.
So there were a lot of comments from people who had either never heard of Typo Negative or Peter Steele. And I also heard from people that were like just sort of discovering Typo Negative and had never even seen Peter Steele. And this dude was such a fucking character. So first off, immediately, of course, there were haters. Anytime that there's chicks saying that a guy is attractive and all that stuff, because the point of the video, it's a classic Jerry Springer episode where they're interviewing girls that identify as groupies. And one of the girls, she is a groupie for Typo Negative. And so they bring Peter Steele out to sort of, show the object of her affection.
What is it about Peter that made you want to be with him?
I totally think he's great.
She's got hearing problems, so...
He is the most beautiful man I've ever seen.
And there were so many comments of motherfuckers trying to hate on him, saying he had a fucked up grill. Somebody said, here, my homeboy, user CB, says, "Is this vampire Elon Musk?" And I got several of those. I see no resemblance between Elon Musk and Peter Steele. Hold on, let me put them side. Let me get a side by side. Oh, dude, I don't see that at all. At all. But it must be a thing, because several of you made that comment about him being some sort of goth and or vampire Elon Musk. My homie Funky Gaines says what he needed was a training bra and a dental plan.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Peter Steele, one thing about Peter Steele is he had these fucking like vampire teeth. I don't think Peter had particularly fucked up teeth, but the weird fangs, like they made it look weird in there. It made him talk weird. And then a lot of people made comments about Peter Steele having titties. Peter Steele was a fucking muscular dude. Have we lost our masculinity to the point that it's like foreign for a man to have pectoral muscles? Beautiful, glistening pectoral muscles. Which leads me to the next thing about Peter Steele. There was so much stuff around the band themselves and Peter Steele. It does get lost, the music. I challenge any motherfucker to find me a band that sounds anything like Typo Negative. I think what drew people to him is he was just clearly not a normal fucking dude. He wasn't just some fucking guy. Here in 2024, there's so many fucking idiots out here talking about being alpha male. We've talked about it so much that it's lost all meaning. First off, there's not a lot of them. Every animal that lives on the alpha male system, there's only one. And nowadays, like, I see dudes that are like, oh, alpha male short king. That doesn't exist, dude. That's not a thing. There's no such thing as like a 5'2" obese alpha male. I don't care how much of an asshole you are. It doesn't make you an alpha male. Peter Steele, he was an alpha male. When he walks the fuck in, everybody stops and looks at that motherfucker. And you know that all the other dudes are not like that dude. He starts talking. He didn't sound like everyone else. The band starts playing. And man, they had this fucking epic, just doom ass groove. And this is before doom was even really a thing. They're pioneers in doom metal. Just that slow, heavy-ass, grinding-ass riffage. That's a staple of Typo Negative that people rip off to this fucking day. But no one can rip off Peter Steele, because who could be that dude? And it's not just a gimmick of like, oh, well, his voice is deep. That dude can sing. He can scream. He was a talented vocalist. My homeboy, Vincent Coho, says Peter Steele was guilty of bastardizing too many awesome songs that were already hits. I guess he did that first. Will Smith, shame. I don't know what the fuck you're referring to, sir, when it comes to Will Smith. But I will say, if you've never heard Typo Negative do covers, you gotta check that shit out. I can't think of too many bands that I've heard take a more wide array of music and do covers and just like completely transform the jam. Like if you go listen to Typo Negative's cover of Summer Breeze, you would never think that Typo Negative could do a cover of a song like that, but you listen to it, it just makes perfect fucking sense. They do a great cover of a Magical Mystery Tour. They do a great cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit. I wish they would have done like an album of covers. Back in the 90s, you couldn't get away with shit like that. These days you can do an album of covers and actually release the shit. I think they would have really cleaned up with that, because anytime Typo Negative would do a cover, it was going to be really, really interesting. They could like headline clubs and shit. They would open for like really big ass bands, and they had hit songs. I mean, Black Number One, that shit would actually play on the radio. Corpus Christi, My Girlfriend's Girlfriend, Halloween in Heaven. So they did have some hit songs, never anything huge, but they absolutely had songs that were very popular. They toured pretty much constantly from the early 90s all the way through to Peter's death, essentially. Those dudes garnered a tremendous amount of respect. You know, a lot of bands, if they have like a mainly female fan base, what commonly happens is guys will sort of turn on it and say, that's fucked up, or fuck those guys, they suck, or whatever. Like I said, there's always going to be sort of haterism, but Typo Negative was one of those bands that you didn't have that. It didn't happen. You understood why girls liked him. It made perfect fucking sense. And to speak on that, my boy John Olson says he was such a good guy. Had a heart of gold, actually, from what I've heard. Dude was like 6'8" tall. Every goth girl on the planet wanted him. And that's fucking legit. Dude, Typo Negative, the lady Typo Negative fans were just a special breed. It was almost like, you know, like that island where Wonder Woman came from was just like an island like of just like gorgeous, fierce ass women. You would walk in and it would be at least 75% hot chicks. And like, not even just like, oh, she's attractive. These women would be dressed to the fucking nines, man. But yeah, it was uncanny. I have never seen a metal band. And another thing, like Typo Negative, though, like I said, they did have some hit songs, but once again, they were never huge. I've never seen a band have such a strong female following and not be a really popular band. Like I said, Motley Crue, bands like that, you can't even count that. They were very popular. They were on the radio all the time. Of course, the ladies were coming out. Heavy metal, it does not draw ladies a lot of times. It's mostly a sausage fest. Go to any metal show, it is mainly a gang of dudes. And you knew it was because of Peter Steele. The music happened to be great, though. That's why you couldn't fucking hate on it as a dude. My homie Tia Lude says, oh, that Playgirl magazine. And also my homie Darkness says, you can tell the man has a swinging arm. That cockiness doesn't just come from nowhere. I think she's referring to his penis.
Look at my hard dick, isn't it right?
A funny Peter Steele story. Peter Steele he posed for Playgirl magazine. Now, for anyone under fucking like 30, Playgirl magazine was the companion to Playboy, which is, of course, Playboy had naked chicks, so Playgirl had naked dudes. Peter Steele agreed to be in Playgirl because he thought that women were reading it. Now, a lot of women did read it for Peter Steele, but Peter Steele didn't realize that the main audience for Playgirl was like homosexuals. So once he was in that magazine, the band's popularity with homosexuals exploded. And he said he was always getting guys trying to fuck him and shit. So this guy was popular in all circles. You know, ladies, for those of you who have gotten dick pics, which I'm sure is most of you, you see how guys do it. We take the shot from underneath. We're doing the gimmick where like you squeeze the base so the rest is, you know, very full and turgid. And, you know, in fact, Peter Steele, speaking of Peter Steele, that was his move in the Playgirl shoot. This dude worked up a boner, which if you think of the reality of that, he's in a room full of people. So he must have, I guess he just went, like turned his back and jacked off or something. I don't fucking know. But the guy worked up a boner. This is the days before Viagra, by the way. So he works up a boner, turns around, poses, does the squeeze, and fucking there's all these pictures floating around of him with a turgid, giant ass boner. The guy, he was just an amazing character, a really funny guy, a really smart guy, a super talent. There was nobody like him before he existed, and there has not been anyone like him since. And I don't expect to see anyone like him anytime soon.